Welcome back to our Leadership Labs. I love these little bite-sized leadership nuggets. They're certainly not the totality of all that it is to lead, but hopefully they'll help you fill in some of the gaps. Today's Leadership Lab is entitled, This Mattered. So when I began in ministry a bunch of years ago, I didn't really know what to expect. All I knew was that I was gonna be working at a church, I had an office, I had to teach or preach pretty often. Sometimes I had to plunge a toilet or navigate a difficult relationship. Overall though, I was excited to be serving God, living out what I felt like was a real purpose. A couple of years into ministry, I realized I would come home and I was unable to answer the requisite question from my wife, "What did you do today?" Because I would begin this really boring list of reading or unloading a shed or updating a spreadsheet. And while I was recounting all of that stuff to Amy, I was thinking, you know what? None of that stuff really mattered. Okay, so let me pause there for a second, just put a small parenthesis in here. Because for clarity, everything matters, right? I mean, not everything we do carries the same weight of significance, but everything you do and I do matters in some way, meaning cleaning the urinal at church matters. Nobody wants to pee into a nasty bus station urinal. But meeting the needs of a single mom, getting to pray with her, share the beauty of Jesus with her, clearly that matters more. That carries more weight, right? Okay, so back to the thought. As I began to think about my situation, my rhythm of doing things that felt inconsequential day after day, I decided I could change some things. I couldn't change all of my things or tasks because, programs still needed oversight, boring meetings still needed to be attended, spreadsheets still needed to be updated. But what happened is I realized I had control over something. I could make sure that there was at least one thing I did a day that mattered to me and matter to God. I can make sure that my schedule was curated in such a way that there was never a day in which I went home thinking I didn't do something for someone else or invest in a life or make a spiritual deposit that really mattered. In fact, 20 plus years later, this practice is one of the most important things I do every day. It keeps me afloat when I'm getting buried in the minutia of ministry. Seriously, going to pray with somebody at the hospital, calling a friend who's in crisis, sometimes it's getting quiet for 20 minutes in my office and really pressing into prayer for a situation because I know prayer changes things and it matters. But here's the point of this lab. Wherever you're leading, at home or in a hospital or in an office or in a classroom, all of it's filled with requirements that will suck the life out of your soul. Unless you can interrupt those moments with a different kind of moment that really matters. It could be taking a break with your homeschool children and piling into the car to go get an ice cream cone. Like seriously, that moment matters with them. It could be to stop a meeting at work, to look at each person in the eye and give them real encouragement, real feedback about what they bring to your department, why they matter. So, some of these important moments, of course, you're gonna have to schedule, but some of the most powerful ones are those that we just stumble into because God puts us in those spaces. Meaning your coworker's in the middle of a terrible custody battle and she begins to cry by the water cooler. This is your moment. Pray for her right there. That moment will matter hugely for her. You pull over on the interstate to help someone change their tire. Guess what? That's a moment. That matters. Again, they all matter. Every single minute, every sacred second in our life can be used to glorify God. But then there are moments that seem to be more significant. So what we want to do is we want to do our best to see them, step into them, and make them matter. See you next time.